I want to welcome everybody to today's Code Ninjas conference call. My name is Marty Flanagan. I'm the Vice President of Franchising with Code Ninjas. I started Code Ninjas with David Graham and Bert Sensipon in October of 2016. And we are a franchise that teaches kids how to code through a game-based curriculum. These calls I do every single week for the past 2.5 years, dedicated to the U.S. and Canada. And now I started these about 3 weeks ago, dedicating this time to the UK. So every Friday at 8 o'clock UK time, I do these calls to help answer any questions you may have, give you better insight on Code Ninjas, and give you a little bit of a story behind what we're doing, what's been happening, and to just kind of give you that insight and then allow you to ask any questions that you may have based on the information that either I touched on today or past information that you read or saw. These calls, the first 15, 20 minutes are just going to be what I mentioned, and then after that I'm going to open it up to whatever questions that you may have and you would like to ask. If you don't have any questions and today's call ends with no questions, not a problem at all. You can also reach out and we can do a one-on-one. But usually these calls have between 10, 20. My call earlier today had close to 50 attendees on it. So it really just depends on the time of the day, depends on and also the month and what's happening in people's lives. So like I said, my name is Marty Flanagan. I'm the Vice President of Franchising with Code Ninjas. I started Code Ninjas with David Graham and Bert Sensipon in 2016. We opened our first location and sold our very first franchise location in March of 2017. So that's when we first officially launched as a brand in terms of having our first center open, and at that month was the first month we had our very first awarded territory. Our first franchisee was in March of 2017. Fast forward to today. Currently, as of this morning, we have just over 240 franchisees. We have 480 sold locations in the U.S. and Canada. In the UK, we have our very first franchisee already in the UK, which is really exciting. That was about 3 weeks ago, and we have another franchisee that's actually in the paperwork process right now. So we'll have 2 franchisees in the UK with only 2 months of actually launching as a brand in the UK. It took about 6 months for our first franchisee, 5 months for our first franchisee to come on board in the US, and it took about 5 months for our first franchisee to come aboard in Canada. So in the UK, to have 2 franchisees here in the first 60 days, that's really exciting and very validating for us to say that we're definitely going in the right direction and by launching in the UK. So when it comes to Code Ninjas, what's our story? Why have we just accomplished what only 2% of franchise brands have ever accomplished? And that's really what's happened. The International Franchising Association ranks for a number of locations and for the speed of opening and operating. We are in 2% of franchise systems in the world that have had 100 locations open within the first 24 months of business. By August of this year, we'll have 200 locations open in the U.S. and in Canada. Our first UK location will probably open up in September. Our second, which should be shortly after that, are around the same time. So the UK has been the inquiries coming from the UK has really surpassed the expectations that we've had. It's been very exciting to talk to so many people interested in the UK and understanding more about Code Ninjas. To give you a little bit of a history, we owned a school that taught adults how to code for about 4.5 years here in the U.S. So that operated in 18 different cities. That was a vocational school, program. And that was actually sold to the Wozniak Group. And through that time of having that school, we heard the question over and over again and had the request over and over again of learning more about the younger generation and the tool that they had and for themselves to learn how to code. So but there's problems on the market with that. There's a lot of problems in terms of between the U.S., Canada, and the UK. The UK has a lot less competition. The U.S. and Canada, there's A lot of competition with private schools, public schools, with other franchises trying to do something similar, with boot camps and everything else that's popping up. The U.S. and Canada is very competitive, and Code Ninja has thrived because we solved some problems, which we'll talk about. Going into the U.K., there's a lot less competition, a lot more opportunity for Code Ninjas to come to the UK and to offer what we have to communities, to kids that would never really have this opportunity, whether it's because of location, whether it will be because of cost, just that overall opportunity. We're coming into markets that nobody ever thought we could with learning how to code, the coding and programming side of it. To give you a little bit of insight, when it comes to, we built our company as a franchise. So everything we do is franchise focused. We're part of the International Franchising Association, and we are obviously we have a business entity in the UK. We're operating in the US and Canada. We fall under US federal franchising laws, which are very strict. The UK actually franchising laws, the benefit to everyone in the UK. Our entrepreneurs in the UK, and one of the reasons why it's happening much faster in the UK than it has in the US, there's a couple of things. One, cost-wise in the UK is about 40 to 50% less to open a Code Ninjas in the UK than it is in the US and Canada. Two, I can share live data. The UK franchising laws allow me to show you live data as long as it's comparable market size and demographics. So what that means is in the US and Canada, I cannot do that. It's against the law. But in the UK, we can actually look at your market, do our pro forma together so we get an idea of the cost of business, and actually show live data, live revenue from locations that have comparable demographics. That really allows you to get great insight on the opportunity you have and seeing live data. And with almost 200 locations open, I can show you multiple live data points that you can see what's happening out there in markets just like yours. Very, very valuable. So again, if you're just joining us, we've had a good 20 people on the call that just joined us. I just want to let you reintroduce myself. My name is Marty Flanagan, the Vice President of Franchising with Code Ninjas. And I started Code Ninjas with David Graham and Bert Sensipon, and we're expanding into the UK. We do these conference calls on a regular basis to give you more insight, and you will have a chance to ask some questions. Anything that I say today, anything you'd like to know more about. To quickly just kind of give you this brief overview of this problem on the market that we saw happening based on our experience in franchising and based on our experience in owning a school that taught adults how to code, there was a problem on the market. The problem is how we teach kids how to code is done by a camp-based system or a classroom-based system, or really it's both. It's done in a camp-based program. Those camps are not done on a continuous basis. They're done through a 5-day window. That 5-day window is typically they do a half day or a full day for 5 days straight. When you do that, they learn through that period that they commit to a half day or full day. So that means you're limited on time. When you can actually host a camp, it has to be when they're not in school. So that puts you into summers or when they're off during holidays. So now you're restricted on the continuous practice and the continuous practice of skills and concepts that's required to really retain information. You can't really learn a different language by going through a 5-day boot camp and then expect to retain that a year later or the next summer. So the opportunities were limited, and cost. The cost to run a boot camp for 5 days, get enough people involved in that, is expensive. And we saw these problems. And the reason it's expensive is you have to hire people to be teaching this curriculum, whatever curriculum you have out there. Most curriculum is off-the-shelf curriculum, which does not give you guidelines, does not give you daily agendas, does not give you direction. It just says, here's the curriculum. Now you have to put it into a 5-day format and how to break it all down. That can work for some people. If you're really smart, you can put it all together, put a roadmap together, but then you're hiring people that have to have a certain ability to code and program because you have to teach what they're showing. Well, we saw that as a huge problem. That's not scalable, and that's not allowing opportunity to happen in communities all over. So what we've done is we have done a few different opportunities for Code Ninja's curriculum. Our main curriculum, your main revenue source, is going to be something called our belt program or our drop-in program. To go with the karate theme, there's 9 different belts. This curriculum, inside each belt, is a learned set of skills and concepts. At the end of each belt, our students have to show their proficiency in those skills and concepts learned. Once they show their proficiency, they're able to progress to the next belt. So another one of the problems on the market was that there's no way of testing proficiency with skills and concepts that are being taught inside of camps. An LMS, a learning management system, is how that is done. That doesn't exist today on the market. A learning management system does not exist for kids coding programs in the market today. So Code Ninjas, we obviously being a team of coders and programmers, we built our own. We call it our game development platform. With Code Ninjas, we believe in kids have fun, parents see results. So how this works is when they learn those skills and abilities and those different concepts and they get to the end of that first belt and every belt, they go onto our game development platform and they have to show their proficiency in those skills and concepts by building a game. Once they do that and they do it successfully, then they progress to the next belt. With 9 total belts, everything is called cumulative learning. So everything is intertwined and connected. Every belt compounds and works off the prior one all the way through. So it's continuous practice. It's continuous practice of skills, the abilities, the concepts, the work. It continues to go, and it's fun. It's interactive. They're building games. They're being creative. They're thinking laterally. It is not just sitting at a screen and typing in code line after code line after code line. This curriculum is 90% proprietary and exclusive to Code Ninjas. This curriculum has a set of proprietary textbooks. This curriculum has an exclusive robotics program built into it. This curriculum is what's called a flexible learning system. So another problem is all these camps are appointed times. So you have to show up at that appointed time to be there, part of that camp. When it comes to Code Ninjas, this flexible learning system allows our students to come in at their convenience. So they're going to be coming in anywhere from 1 to 3 hours per week, depending on their parents' preference. They're going to be able to sit and go through the Code Ninjas curriculum. So they'll work through the Code Ninjas curriculum at their pace. It's a self-paced but not self-taught program. So that flexible learning system allows them to come in at their parents' convenience versus a pointed time. So this curriculum itself, parents, like I mentioned earlier, parents will pay a flat tuition rate per month for students to access this curriculum. This curriculum is accessed at our Code Ninja Center, so at the location. This has an 8-to-1 ratio. What I mean by that is there's 8 students for every 1 code sensei. Code senseis are typically 17 to 22 years old. They do not have to be coders and programmers. We have the Code Ninjas curriculum roadmap and pathway laid out for them. Their number one responsibility is to deliver an exceptional experience. Their number 2 responsibility is to coach and teach the Code Ninjas curriculum. They don't have to come up with anything on their own. It's all done. We have a team of over 15 coders and programmers that focus just on curriculum development. So this has solved an enormous problem on the market today, because this is a 3 to 4 year long program at anywhere from 1 to 3 hours per week. It's done inside of our center. It's a self-paced but not self-taught program. We have the only LMS for kids coding, which is our game development platform. This has an 8% month-over-month attrition currently in our centers in the U.S. and Canada. We keep a very, very large number of our students month over month. This is a fun, interactive, game-based curriculum where they're learning how to code with 3 different technologies. They're going to spend about a year and a half in JavaScript. They're going to spend about a year in Lua, and they're going to spend about a year in C#. This curriculum itself is designed to focus on what makes a great coder, not just a language. They are learning the syntax. They're understanding what that is. They're learning what that is for JavaScript and Lua and C#. The second belt Belt number 2, for example, they're typing in 1,100 lines of code in just that second line while they learn the syntax, and they're learning the concepts, the skills. What does it mean? What does it look like? We focus on problem-solving skills, problem identification, critical thinking, collaboration, leadership, time management. We focus on what makes a great coder, what makes a great thinker, and that is what a great coder is. So we have those 3 different technologies. That's our baseline of your number 1 revenue source. But then on top of that, we have the drop-in program, like I mentioned. We also offer camps. Camps, we have 14 different camps. Camps are designed to dig deeper in certain topics, and also they're designed to introduce kids into this world. Camps are a tremendous opportunity for you to be able to introduce families into your culture of your Code Ninjas. Camps are again, they're the same as the traditional camp in terms of the time. We offer a variety of different camps, from creation fun camps to building camps to beginning JavaScript where they're really digging in. We have a variety of different camps available, coding drones. For the younger kids, we even have snap circuit camps, which we call our ninja circuits. We have custom proprietary camps, and then we have also camps that are not proprietary. They're just general camps that allow kids to use skills and abilities, whether it's through Minecraft or Roblox. It gives them another opportunity on the creation side and not just the play side. Those camps are very popular. You can do those inside of your Code Ninjas, or you can do those outside of your Code Ninjas. So camps can be done inside your 4 walls, or you can take them out into your community. We allow you to do both. So not only do we allow you to do have the opportunity for you to do something very unique inside your Code Ninjas that nobody is doing, we also have the opportunity for you to go out and do what everybody is doing already. So we have our camps, we have our workshops, we have an after-school program, we have birthday parties, and we have something called Parents Night Out. So we have a total of 6 different opportunities for you, for families to get involved in Code Ninjas. And soon we'll be adding 2 more, which is going to be expanding our age range. Right now our current age range is 7 to 14. That's going to be expanding, and we're going to be younger and older for families to be involved in Code Ninjas, to turn Code Ninjas into a family coding center, not just 7 to 14 years old. The growth that we've experienced has been very validating. It's been tremendous. And to be able to have that growth has really allowed us to hear the feedback from our students, from our parents, from our franchisees, and the entrepreneurs on what the market is looking for. We felt we saw it, we did, and now it's gone to a whole nother level. The advantage now is we have 240 franchisees who are consistently looking at the market to make sure we have the edge as a franchise. So not only do we have this franchisor operation that has 45 plus employees who are driving our brand forward and keeping it consistent and professional, we have 240 plus franchisees that are also delivering feedback, and not including that, thousands and thousands of students that are in our program today. That feedback consistently comes in, that we're able to see usage, we're able to see where they're having the most fun, get their feedback from their parents, and continue to refine our program. By launching in the UK and having individuals and entrepreneurs come aboard so quickly, it's really shown us the value of coming to the UK when we did, and we'll be actually coming back out and doing a Discovery Day on August 26th, which is a bank holiday, which is exciting because now you don't have to worry about taking a day off work if you want to attend one of our Discovery Days. So, and that'll be right outside of London. So this gives you an idea of our curriculum. And like I said, there's these 6 different opportunities. Camps are those 5 days long. They're either half day or full day. Workshops are usually 1 to 3 days. And the workshops typically all of our camps are broken up into 1-day segments. You can take any one of our camps and break it up into a workshop in a 1-day segment. After school program, that would be something that if you have experience in that space, that's something you also can consider. Birthday parties, believe it or not, those have been very exciting. We have a huge screen that we play video games on. They have an exciting birthday party. They take over the room. And then Parents Night Out, that's another opportunity really to introduce families into your culture. They can come by, drop their son or their daughter off for a couple hours. They can do some STEM-based fun activities, have a good time, and then be able to get picked up a couple hours later after their parents do shopping or go run errands or whatever it might be. So a couple of things that we also do is we have a very nice performer. We help walk you through the opportunity with Code Ninjas. We have a detailed email, and we'd like to do one-to-one phone calls to be able to really dig in with you and help you understand your market. What does it take to open up a Code Ninjas? I get that question a lot in the UK, is what is the cost to open up a Code Ninjas? And I can tell you right now, we're having some franchisees come in lower than this number, but right now, all the research we've done, for 12 to 1,300 square feet, you're looking at anywhere from 80,000 to 100,000 pounds to open up a Code Ninjas. Now, some franchisees are going to do it for less than that. Some franchisees are going to do it for more than that. But that is total turnkey business operation. That's your franchise fee. That's real estate. That's planning. That's inventory. That's any kind of fit-out work that would need to be done. That's everything is between 80 and 100,000 pounds. We have seen, we had concerns about being able to find real estate, and that has been completely squashed, and real estate seems to be one of the easier things we're finding right now, so that's exciting. We have the pathway laid for you to be able to move down, to take this journey with us into the UK. The UK itself, we see being anywhere from a 200 to 300 unit country for Code Ninjas. I think we have a lot of opportunity for Code Ninjas inside the UK. And so this is kind of how these calls work, that these first few minutes are just like this first 15, 20 minutes. And again, I've been doing these calls for 2.5 years. They're all hosted on YouTube for people to go back and listen to. And we move into this Q&A section where you're able to ask that you have. If I did such a fantastic job today, I know it's 9:30 or 9 o'clock at night there, or 8 o'clock at night there. If you have questions, this is going to be your time. You hit *6, and then that'll virtually raise your hand, and then I will be able to unmute you, and you can ask whatever questions you have for Code Ninjas. And like I said, I started Code Ninjas. I probably can ask any question that you're going to have, and we'll take as long as it takes for questions to come in. I don't want you to feel rushed at all. We can take our time through whatever questions you might have. And we do have a couple questions, so fantastic. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, it's actually 2 questions in one. Number one, what's the monthly price people pay to attend Code Ninjas? And will you help in searching the venue, or is it something which we have to search?
So great question. So the cost for parents is going to vary. We let you as a franchisee determine that monthly charge based on your community. We do have minimums and maximums. So we don't want, you charging £5 a month, right? So we do have minimums and maximums, but there's flexibility there based on your community. Some communities are not going to be able to. It's a higher cost of living. It's a higher cost of doing business. Other communities, it's lower. So we give you that flexibility on the pricing structure to work the best pricing into your community. We want you to make sure also that you do a competitive analysis so that you don't go in just thinking, well, I can't get that much, and the next thing you know, other centers in town are charging twice as much. Now, what I mean by that is like music lessons or other child enrichment programs. One thing to compare, I've done a lot of research in the UK on competition in terms of what's being offered out there for kids coding camps and what's being done. And they're quite a bit high. They're quite a bit higher than Code Ninjas would do. They're anywhere from the lowest I've seen is about £450, 400 to 450 pounds for a week. Typically here in the U.S., we're about $200 for that same exact type of camp. So, and I've seen them all the way up to 1,300 pounds. So, that's if you're going to compare prices for camps. Code Ninjas typically comes in quite a bit less than that. But again, you're going to look at that compared to your market and determine where your best pricing is going to be. Space-wise, we do work with you on finding a space. So we have all of our recommendations, requirements. We have preferred vendors. So there's no part of this journey where you're going to be alone. We're working with you to help you identify the best space, what's going to make the most amount of sense. I have a team in the UK, so even though I'm based in the US, I have a corporate office in the UK. I have a team in the UK that's going to be supporting and working with all of our local UK franchisees.
Thank you.
Is that helpful? All right, thank you. Yeah. Hi, you have a question? Hello, do you have a question? Nope, I can hear you. Do you have a question? Hello? Okay, so if you have any questions, it looks like it got cut off there. If you have any questions, this would be your time to hit *6 to be able to ask any question that you may have. We will be hosting a Code Ninjas Discovery Day on August 26th. We hosted a Discovery Day in May that had more than 40 attendees. We have close to each day, we connect with anywhere from 8 to 10 interested parties from the UK. So Discovery Days, if you're interested in attending something with us face-to-face and sit down with us, or if you just want to connect one-on-one, we can set up times to do that. But in the UK, having that Discovery Day and coming to that will be very valuable to you. So we have a couple more questions. Hi, do you have a question?
Hi, this is Manish. Yes. So if I want to raise a funding from bank in order to open a center, is there something that you can help me with? I mean, the business plan and the return on investment, the typical questions that the bank would ask.
Yes, of course. We actually have a full business plan done and ready that you're able to customize, and a full pro forma ready that you're able to use and see the true potential. So, and I can show you live data. So the difference is here in the U.S., we can provide a business plan and pro forma, but no comparable data. In the UK, I can do all of that. So I have a very nice business plan that's going to be, even shows you in there where you would put in your information. I have a nice Excel pro forma that you can use that is ready to go for the UK. And then we can also compare that to some live data so that you can actually see what other centers are doing in markets that are comparable to yours. So we have all that in place. So as you go into this process with us, before you become a franchisee, we can get you all this information, but you do have to sign an NDA, and we do have to make sure you're a good fit for Code Ninjas. And we give you the tools after tools after tools to be able to fund your project and move forward. We have connections with banks as well in the UK. Okay. Hi, you have a question?
Yes. So you did mention about 8-to-1 ratio about pen size, and you mentioned the age range as well for pen size. Can you repeat that age range, and also how does that hiring process happen? Are we as franchise owners supposed to hire those people, or will you provide a pen size?
So this is your business. So you're hiring your team. We give you job descriptions. We give you coaching on interviewing. We give you what ideas to look for. And keeping in mind, we're even seeing 16-year-olds coming aboard now here in the U.S. and Canada. But you're hiring 17 to 22 is pretty standard. And we give you the direction on where to find individuals like this. In all of our centers, we have close to 200 centers open here. We will in the next month. And I have yet to hear one complaint about a center finding Code Senseis. Code Senseis, these are 17 to 22-year kids. This is the environment they want to be a part of. So this is something they're going to put on their resume in the future, that they taught kids how to code. They're already interested in this area, so they're going to be doing the Code Ninjas curriculum themselves. So it really feeds their future, and they get a chance to do a curriculum they've never done before.
Thank you. Makes sense.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Well, so if there's no other questions, I can round out today's call. But if you do have a question and you do want to jump on the line and ask it, by hitting *6, it allows you to be able to virtually raise your hand, and I'll be able to unmute you, and you can ask a question. If you're interested in coming to a Code Ninjas Discovery Day in August, you can email me, Marty, M-A-R-T-Y, at codeninjas.com. If you are interested in connecting one-on-one, like I said, we have 2 franchisees already in the UK. We have a third that looks like it's going to be coming aboard in the next couple of weeks. So it's exciting to see Code Ninjas moving so fast throughout the UK that I would suggest setting up some calls. Coming to a Discovery Day would definitely benefit you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes. Do you have any data or an average time to reach the break-even? So if we are investing 80,000 to 100,000 pounds, approximately what time frame do you think we will reach the break-even?
Yeah, so what we do, to kind of walk this out with you, what we do is after you enter into this process with us and you have an NDA signed, we have a one-on-one call, I send you a bunch of information. Then what we do is we walk through that pro forma. As we walk through the pro forma that we have built for Code Ninjas, you get to understand your BOE, right, your base operating expense. Then we take all the different revenue sources that I talked about earlier. We take the top 4 revenue sources and we plug those into that pro forma. And then we use that revenue number along with your marketplace. So we're looking at the demos of your market. So if you say I'm going to be in Finchley or I'm going to be in Barnet or I'm going to be in Enfield, wherever you're going to be at, we look at the demographics for that market. Then we compare that to demographics in the U.S. so I can show you apples to apples. We do this via screen share, by the way. So you're actually looking at my screen, going into my system, and I'm showing you live data from centers that are comparable to yours. So not only do I help you with understanding what we can do with this pro forma, so you can actually see break-even timeline, break-even student counts. You can play around with the numbers a little bit. I'm also showing you live data of what's actually happening inside Code Ninja centers that have comparable demographics. What I mean by that is income and kid count to what you're looking at. So, and I'm showing you multiple. I don't just show you 1 or 2. We walk through quite a few. And you're able to then look at that and see, okay, my revenue is ultra conservative, my expenses are a little bit high, and I'm still at X amount of break even or X amount of revenue. And you can see that in comparison to actually what's happening today inside of Code Ninjas. So we like to do that process with you and walk you through that, but we don't do that until we've had a couple of phone calls. We make sure that this is a good fit. You feel comfortable with Code Ninjas. We feel comfortable with you. Your market is ready to go. And then we take this next step of really looking at deeper into the pro forma and some more data.
Okay.
And we can't do that in the U.S. And I can't do that anywhere else besides the U.K. Just so everybody listening now and in the future, UK franchising laws allow me to do things that I cannot do in Europe, that I cannot do in the U.S., that I cannot do in Canada. So take advantage of them while they're there because we've had 240-plus franchisees come aboard with not doing anything like this. So it's pretty exciting to be able to do that with individuals in the UK. Hi, you have a question?
Oh, hi. So you mentioned there are 3 centres in the UK. So I know one in High Wycombe. What are the other ones?
So I said we have 3 franchisees. We don't have any locations open yet. Our first location in the UK, I'm hoping will be open by September. They already found a location, so they should be open by September. And then we have 2 other franchisees that are coming up. That one's in the paperwork process, and one will be happening probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. They're in the final stages as well.
Right. And, within one county, how many centres do you allow? Say if I start in a location, within how many kilometers you're gonna start another, or you're gonna give the permission to the second one?
I actually go by I go by the demographics. I don't go by counties. I don't go by just how far they are apart. I look at the data because the data is going to tell me everything. So the data has to make sense. The demographics have to make sense. For us as Code Ninjas, we're about individual center success. So we really have to find the right mix of data, location, and franchisee. So when it comes to how far one's going to be away, I'd have to first look at the market and then understand the economy in that market, the real estate availability in that market as well.
So in other words, there is a possibility that you're going to open a second one in the same city.
No, I will not do that. So I have not done that in 480 locations across the U.S. and Canada. I don't put locations on top of one another, and so we don't do that.
Okay. Right. Yeah. And so what would be the next step, after this conference call? What's the next step? If you're going to take it further, what should we do?
Let's plan a one-on-one call. Let's connect a one-on-one, and let's create your roadmap forward. I want to make sure that you're comfortable, you're confident with how we move forward and what that looks like. So let's plan send me an email, Marty@codeninjas.com, and let's plan a one-on-one call to create your roadmap forward and what that looks like. And then I get a better understanding of what you need to help you feel more confident and comfortable. Everybody's a little bit different. Not everybody needs the same data. Not everybody is in the same situation. So I want to be able to help understand. I want to understand your situation and then plan a path forward for you.
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing your email.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining today's Code Ninjas evening time over there for you, and I really appreciate you taking a little bit of your evening to spend some time listening in. If you're interested in coming to the Code Ninjas Discovery Day, we already have 5 attendees set up. It's going to be on August 26th. It is by invitation only. If you would like to attend that, please send me an email, Marty@codeninjas.com, and we'll make sure that either myself or my team will be able to dive in with you and help you get to a place where coming to Discovery Day makes sense. You'll meet some franchisees there as well, local UK franchisees you will meet. They will be there. So you'll be able to talk with them a little bit as well. And again, our first center is probably set to open in like September-ish, so that's pretty exciting. They're in the UK. And again, you can always talk to franchisees here in the US. We can get you connected to that as well. But thanks for your time. I really do appreciate it and look forward to working with you more.